Rhonda, it's so nice to have you here in person. I enjoyed reading about you and also watching videos. You've had some exciting experiences, I guess we could say, beginning with growing up. Your dad was a veterinarian. Y'all traveled quite a bit, and you did some interesting things then.
Yes, exactly. My father was a large animal vet. He was a very sought-after doctor. Parita had actually pulled some stuff for him. He created a lot of interesting things out there. We were in Canada and in America back and forth about every 4 years, so we traveled quite a bit with his business.
So was something along that line what interested you in creating foods that would be better for people?
I think that things have changed a lot, so people are eating a lot more processed and different foods, and because of that, their health is deteriorating. I am interested in having people eat the things that they love, but creating it plant-based so that they can be a healthier them.
Well, when you said one of the things you were going to prepare was meatless taco meat, and I thought, ooh, that doesn't sound real appetizing. But we're going to get to see it from a whole different standpoint today. So go ahead and tell us what you're going to do and why you're using these ingredients.
Perfect. So we're going to be using walnuts. That's going to give us our crumble. And when we do that, we make it to the texture of hamburger, which is really easy to do. And then we're going to add our balancing flavors, which will give it the flavor of taco meat. So that's the first portion of this. And then after that, I'm going to add some palm hearts to give it a completely different texture, but yet a good flavor, so it can be used in casseroles and cooked dishes. So this will be raw and then again cooked.
Okay.
So if we get started?
Yes, let's do.
Perfect. So we're going to take the walnuts, and we're just going to go ahead and crumble those and make them the way they need to be. Okay, let's take a look at that. Perfect. So as you can see, I'll go ahead and pull that off. You can see how it's a textured crumble. And you can see as I pick it up, I'll just pull it out a little bit, and you can see how it just is that texture, right?
Oh,
which is perfect.
Okay.
It's
that's
exactly
what
we're looking for.
Good, got it.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this back on here, and what we're going to use to balance it is we're going to use tamari, which will make it a darker color, and it will give us our salt.
Because we eat with our eyes, don't we?
We do, and we've got our little taco seasoning to give it the flavor.
It's already smelling better.
See? Cumin gives it that deep-bodied flavor, which we like. And we've got a little more cayenne pepper.
Back to the
Now you can see it looks like taco meat.
Okay.
How does it smell?
More like taco meat.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and pour this in a bowl.
What was this? 2 cups? How much would you say of the nuts did you start with?
I used 3 cups of nuts.
3.
I doubled the recipe
Oh, okay.
because I wanted to have a nice view here.
Good match. And is this like with regular taco or turkey meat or any of those that you could make it ahead of time, freeze it in bags? And,
exactly. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the palm hearts. I got this locally here, so you can get it at your store.
Organic hearts of palm. Okay.
And I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in here. We took and chopped it. They were spears. And I'm going to go ahead and, again, grind this up. What I've done is I just ground that up. Again, it's got a texture of meat.
It actually looks like white cheese is what, I mean, if I just glanced at it, that's what I would think.
Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of this back in here.
So what would you say? Is it a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1?
It's like 2-to-1. So we've got two recipes here, but we're just going to do it as a show, just to show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to grind a little bit of it in there, and then we'll go ahead and put it in our bowl. Oops. And as I stir this up, I've done this and made tamales. This is how I actually figured this out, which is kind of interesting. You know, I always get these crazy recipes from God, really, but it works. And so on January 1st, the people are actually, you know, all gathering together in Phoenix to make these tamales. And I'm like, I want tamales too. So my friends were laughing at me, so I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. And I did.
Are you a vegan or vegetarian?
I am a vegan. The difference between vegan and vegetarian is vegetarians use eggs and cheese and dairy and milk and things like that. See how this now looks like a hamburger that is moist, like if you were going to make a meatloaf or something? That's the texture I was after. So when I did this, I created this so that it would go for tamales. The seasonings, I added a little bit more cumin to give it a more beefy flavor, and I make a beef style seasoning from scratch myself. And when I did that and I made tamales, it was perfect because the texture's
What other things
amazing.
have you used this same recipe for? Casseroles?
Casseroles, like a tamale pie, different things. There's recipes in my book that have that, and it's amazing because the texture is what we're after. We eat with our eyes first. It has to look like it. So if you're heating this up, it does. And then the flavor is great. You have to balance everything out, and that's what it is. It becomes something you can use on the stove or in a casserole or as raw tacos.
Okay, so making it 2 to 1, and we could freeze this in individual baggies
You could.
and have our meatless tacos ready to go in no time.
And this can be chopped up and done for casseroles, and then that can just be put in a Ziploc and tossed in the freezer and pull it out when you need it.
I
Works
like
great.
those ideas. It would really cut
Love
down the
it.
time. Thank you very much, Rhonda. This
You're
is an
very
interesting way to cook. I've never tried this.
Yeah, thank you so much.